We've talked about hospice care wives. It's a phrase that I coined many years ago when I noticed that my friends that were in their 40s started marrying these legacies of low achievement struggle bandits who had ditched their lives, mistreated their kids, been put out, didn't have anywhere to stay, and then they would run and marry my successful friends with homes and cars and most importantly medical benefits, and they would get on their medical benefits, and then my friends would, some of them, go bankrupt trying to take care of them in their medical conditions, because we know the black male life quality of life expectancy is about 52 years old. So we've talked about that, and then we talked about hospice care daughters. My friend Bourbon Bougie started hearing from a lot of daughters who were in situations where their fathers had never done anything for them growing up, had not been good fathers, and then when they get sick, they show up on their daughters' doorsteps because they burn their bridges with every other person, woman, every woman that's ever tried to love them. And so then they show up at their daughter's doorsteps for her to take them in and take care of them. And some of the daughters said, hey, we're not doing it anymore. Well, I want to also talk now about hospice care sisters. How many of you all are taking in your brothers? Now, I am, in my life right now, is an older sister who is been a support system for me. You know, I love to have older black women to mentor me. I say help finish raising me and pass on that knowledge. So she's about 15 years older than me. And I noticed that she seemed really stressed. And she said because her older brother, who she had never had any dealings with, who had essayed her as a child, fell, hit his head, had a stroke. And for the past 2 years, he's been living at her home. She's a widow. He's been living at her home, and she's been taking care of him. He's very salty and very nasty, and so she's just been caring for him. Then a colleague of mine recently said to me that she has a relative, a brother, who, same thing. This one has a mental illness, schizophrenia, bipolar, and his wife put him out, and he showed up at his sister's doorsteps. And these are women now that are in their 60s, late 60s, and going into their 70s, and now they're trying to take care of their brothers. And what I'm just going to say to you all, ladies, I know we love our brothers, but would your brother take you in and take care of you? Is your brother in a position to be able to take care of you if something happened? Would you trust him to take care of you if something happened? Now, I've learned the hard way that whereas we as women will take in brothers and allow them to stay and, you know, take care of them, when it comes to sisters, they won't. They'll take care of their woman. But their sisters, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to take care of you. Like, you could get your brother and bring him in and say, hey, you know, just take it easy. You know, you've had a rough time. You know, take it easy for 6 months, and then, you know, you can get out there, or we'll get you to the doctor or figure out what's going on with you. But when it comes to a sister, especially if they got a woman, they're going to bring you there, and they're not going to treat you that way. And I know I'm talking to somebody that's probably listening to me. There's somebody out there. There's some brother out there who has, you know, turned to his family and turned to his sister, and she has helped him. And when he's gotten into a position to help a sister, he doesn't. Now, maybe they might help their brothers, but I can tell you that how many of y'all have no males, black men, that are my age, that are taking care of their disabled sisters? So I'm going to say to you all, stop being hospice care sisters. If that brother didn't grow up with you, didn't take care, and if he was nasty and hateful to you, don't take care of him. My mother did that with one of my uncles. One of my uncles she said, was very cruel to her as a child. As a matter of fact, he almost took her life when she was a child by making her run into, they were scaring her, and she was like 4 or 5, and she ran into a heater and burned her body, like to the point to where she should have been in the hospital, but she ended up not going to the hospital. I don't know if it was because they didn't want anyone to know that the brother had done it, or I don't know. But she had this horrible scar that that she still has on her body to this day. And then guess what? When her brother got sick and was dying, whose house was he staying at? Who was taking care of him? So, we're going to have to start letting these men in our community, we're going to have to let them stand on their own. We all can talk about how wonderful our dads are and our brothers are, but they're still men. They're still men, and it's, they're not our man. Let me just put it that way. I said they're still men, but they're not our man. They're not our man. So the man that's dogging you out and treating you horribly, his mama and his sister probably, he's just a wonderful man, but he cheated on you, brought you a venereal disease, stole money out of your checking account, broke your heart and gutted it, then went around and tried to ruin your reputation and destroy you. So I'm just saying, we don't want to be nurses with the purse. We don't want to be hospice care wives. And the other thing is we don't want to be sisters who are hospice care sisters. These men need to stand on their own. If they can't get a woman that's going to stick with them, because we know that 9 times out of 10, the woman is going to live longer than a man. So with them knowing that, they should be on their best behavior, knowing that if they get a woman, that she is going to be a prize, that so she would be someone that would be likely to take care of them. And if you are a brother out there, I want you to think, would your sisters put you out in the cold? Would your sisters tried to have your back? And when it was your turn to stand up and take care of a sister, were you as a brother, were you willing to do that? Did you do that? Or did you throw your hands up in the air and just said, I can't do it? But you got other sisters that are taking care of their brothers, wiping their asses and changing their underwear and changing their bed sheets. Think about it.